Good evening and welcome. My name is Rebecca Siegert McGill, representing Sacramento City Unified School District. Sac City. I am one of the Sacramento County Teachers of the Year for 2018, and it has indeed been a great year representing this county. It is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to the awards banquet.
My name is Jeff Zahniser. I am representing Sacramento County Office of Education. I'm the other 2018 Teacher of the Year, and it has been a true pleasure. It really has to represent the entire county and the teachers and the wonderful people. Thank you.
While we're sad to see our time end as Teachers of the Year, we're excited for all of the other teachers here this evening. And as we begin our festivities, it is my privilege to introduce to you tonight Dave Gordon, the Sacramento County Superintendent of Schools, who would like to welcome us this evening. Mr. Gordon.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Rebecca and Chef Jeff, and thank you both so much for being outstanding representatives of great teaching in Sacramento County over the past year. Let's have another round of applause for these two great teachers. I want to let everybody know this is bar none my favorite event of the year. This is amazing because tonight's honorees represent the very best in education, and they represent all of the thousands of dedicated teachers here in our county. Let's give all of our top teachers some well-deserved applause. For those of you who haven't been privileged to be at this event before, you will hear the stories of these incredible teachers, and you'll learn what inspires them. And as a special treat, we will meet their amazing students and former students who will be introducing them. Prepare to be impressed, and prepare to laugh, and prepare to even shed a tear or two. And before I introduce Tim Herrera to move on with our program, I want to take a moment to thank every one of you, trustees and school leaders, for taking on the mission to improve civic education in our county. Many more of our young people are now registered to vote, thanks to you. But we need to do even more. Keep encouraging your high schools to pre-register 16 and 17-year-olds to vote. Continue encouraging them to become engaged and involved in civic affairs. And why is this so important at this particular moment in our history? Thomas Jefferson, who at the dawn of our democracy said this: "We in America do not have government by the majority. We have government by the majority who participate." And he went on to say, "All tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent." And second, the 2020 U.S. Census is upon us. We at SCOE are fortunate to have a grant to launch a program to equip teachers 8th through 12th grades with resources to help young people understand the importance of the census and to communicate that to parents and other family members. Please lend your support to this effort. The risk of a severe census undercount in California makes this a social justice issue, and there is much we all can do to help. Encourage young people to have their families complete their census questionnaires, especially in our neediest communities. And please consider encouraging your friends and young people to consider volunteering with the census in the coming year or two. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for tonight. Tim Herrera is our Communications Director at SCOE and was named Communicator of the Year by the California School Public Relations Association. He's a former reporter. Yes. He's a former reporter for KCRA TV and an author and adjunct college instructor. He's the father of 4 children. They are all college graduates, and they are all employed. His youngest is a first-grade teacher in the Lodi Unified School District, but most important, Tim is married to a kindergarten teacher in Elk Grove Unified. So before I turn everything over to you, Tim, let me express my deep appreciation to every district and to you and our outstanding SCOE staff team and to the Excellence Selection Committee. You all make it possible for us to recognize the outstanding achievements and contributions of our teachers. Please welcome Tim Herrera.
Thank you, Mary, very much, Superintendent Gordon. And as I think we can all agree that we don't appreciate our teachers enough. And I say that honestly because, well, I have to. I am married to a teacher. And my daughter's a teacher. My wife and I will be married 34 years next Friday. I know that applause is more for her than for me. That's okay. I've had the privilege of speaking with every one of the teacher candidates here tonight, and you will really enjoy meeting them. They are very impressive. Now, before I continue with the program, I want to tell a quick story, and I also want to issue an apology. I want to apologize for something that I did not say to a very angry woman that I met at the Orange County Airport last month, and this is a true story. I was in Anaheim for the National School Public Relations Association conference. It was a very uplifting 4-day full of workshop led by my peers from around the country, spreading the good word about the great things happening in public education and the outstanding people that are making it happen. There was this passionate keynote speech by a gentleman named Dr. Rick Rigsby. He told over 1,000 school communicators that when dealing with students, families, colleagues, and stakeholders, don't judge, be kind to everyone, be a servant, and strive for excellence. He brought us all to tears. So I'm waiting for my flight at the airport, feeling uplifted, and a woman came and just sat down next to me. She was visibly angry. And I looked at her and she said, "My plane is late." What am I going to do? So I said, "Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm sure it will be here soon." "Why is it late?" Again, these are the people that I attract. So I said, I don't know. Did you ask the airline? And she got angrier. She looked at me and she changed the subject and she said, "What do you do for a living?" And I said, "Well, I'm the communications director for the Sacramento County Office of Education." And she growled and said, "When are they going to fix public schools? They're a mess. They force kids to do 3 hours of homework every night. All they do is memorize. They can't think for themselves." Yeah, where were you when I needed you? So calmly, I reflected on Dr. Rigsby's words. And I said, "Well, that's not how things work. Have you spent time in the public schools? There's a lot of innovation going on there." And she said, "No, but my company has a hard time hiring people. All the ones from public schools can't think for themselves." And I said, "All of them?" She said, "Yes, every single one." Well, so I didn't judge. I didn't try to. I tried to be kind. And I said, "Well, you need to look a lot harder at the public schools, a lot harder, because there's a lot going on in public schools. Oh, and by the way, good luck with your connecting flight." So this woman got even angrier and she walked away, so I was relieved. But she left being unaware of all the good things going on in public schools, and that's my fault. I didn't do my job. I could have done better, and that's why I'm apologizing here tonight. I could have told her about early learning, and I could have told her about social and emotional wellness and career technical education, rigorous standards, on, but I didn't. But really, teachers, when it comes to connecting flights, you guys are dropping the ball. You know, what I should have said is, if you want to see excellence in public education, come to the Sacramento County Teachers of the Year dinner and you will meet some outstanding teachers. So let's meet some outstanding teachers. Representing the Center Joint Unified School District as Teacher of the Year 2019 is Larisa Snyder. Larisa teaches special education at Cyril Spinelli Elementary School. She's being introduced by Lauren Stone.
Hi, my name is Lauren Stone. I will be 18 years old next month. I have Down syndrome, and that makes it harder for me to learn most things. I have a device that helps me talk. My sister, Carly, is helping me. I have known Mrs. Snyder since kindergarten. I loved her class so much that I stayed a few years. Mrs. Snyder knows that each student in her class is unique. What works for one child might not work for another. We all have our own likes, dislikes, and behaviors. Teaching someone that is nonverbal with severe cognitive delays and physical limitations is no easy task. She thinks out of the box to find ways to help her students learn. She was even able to get me to wear my glasses without taking them off and breaking them in half, which my mom was very happy about. I learned so much in her class. I learned how to participate, face my fears, follow routine, read, identify colors, numbers, and so much more. I even worked on potty training, and faced my fear of the cafeteria. She goes above and beyond the call of duty in so many ways. She, and the staff that work with her, give their all. It is truly a calling to do what she does, and a gift to those of us privileged enough to be in her class. I am so grateful for the time I spent with her. I'd like to introduce to you, Center School District's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Larisa Snyder.
Thank you. I first met Lauren when she was just about to graduate preschool in 2006 and would be transitioning into my classroom for kindergarten. I teach a special day class for students with various disabilities in grades kindergarten through third grade at Spinelli Elementary School. I had the pleasure of teaching Lauren for 5 years, and in that 5 years, she made such huge gains and met so many goals. And now, as she is in high school, I continue to watch her grow and learn. It reminds me why I went into teaching. I've always had a passion for working with students with unique needs and enjoyed volunteering in an SDC classroom in elementary school and partnering up with students with disabilities in home ec in middle school and playing on integrated sports teams. I attended the University of Nevada, Reno, and graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Elementary and Special Education. I took my first teaching position in the Clark County School District in Las Vegas, teaching RSP grades 3 through 5 at Fitzgerald Elementary School. I then moved to Sacramento City Unified School District, teaching an SDC LH 1st through 6th grade classroom at Mark Hopkins Elementary School. I learned a lot from both of these positions, including dealing with challenging behaviors, working in poverty areas, working with other teachers, teaching students at various levels, and navigating the special education system. I discovered that special education was definitely my calling, and I made my last move to Center Unified School District, where I have been teaching for the past 14 years. I have had the pleasure to work with so many students with unique needs and learn how to be a better teacher. To see a child's face light up when they learn something new or achieve something they have been struggling with is what I work for every day. Students are the reason I teach, the reason I continue to learn and grow. The twinkle in their eyes, the joy at learning new things, their curiosity swells my continued desire to fill them with knowledge. I have created an environment where all my students feel safe, comfortable, happy, proud, and are able to celebrate their successes. Every day is a new day to learn, have fun, and feel proud of yourself. I definitely could not have survived working daily without the support of my husband, my 3 sons, my family, friends, and my coworkers. Their support and collaboration helps to ensure the success of all my students.
Special education was my calling, and though I love what I do, it's not for everyone. My students are some of the most challenging, and I seem to thrive on the challenge. With each new day, I find myself learning new things, not only about my students, but about myself as a teacher. Teaching is definitely not an easy job. It's important to remember to celebrate the small things and that we are here for the students. And although we may not always see it, we are appreciated, especially when a student comes up to you and says, "You're my favorite teacher," or when a student brings you a flower they picked on the way to school, or a drawing, or tokens that validate our successes as teachers. We also need to support, encourage, and celebrate each other. I truly appreciate all who have supported me, and I am humbled to be Center Teacher of the Year. Thank you to my husband, my family, my friends, and coworkers who came here tonight to celebrate with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Larisa, and thank you, Lauren, with a little bit of help from her big sister, Carly. The Elk Grove Unified School District has 2 Teachers of the Year 2019. The first is Michael Steele. Michael teaches calculus, AP Calculus, and AVID at Franklin High School. He is being introduced by Maya Gurdon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maya Gurdon, and I have the honor of introducing you all to my former calculus teacher, my mathletes coach, the Challenge Day coordinator, and one of my closest friends, Mr. Mike Steele. I have known Mr. Steele for 6 years, and during this time, I have seen him work relentlessly, tirelessly, and passionately to create a fun and accepting environment for everyone at Franklin High School. His work efforts go beyond that of an average educator. Not only is he one of the most dedicated people on campus, but he is also a friend and mentor off campus as well. His passion and drive for empowering his students can be seen all throughout his classroom. The walls are decorated with colorful posters, lights, pictures, t-shirts, student awards, and many memories of the past years. HL5, Mr. Steele's classroom, demonstrates his devotion to his students, their well-being, and their passion for learning. I want to emphasize the care he takes with every individual in his classroom, whether that involves going over materials covered in class, answering other academic inquiries, or offering advice for personal struggles. The time and effort he puts in with every student is extraordinary. Mr. Steele is not only an extremely knowledgeable and valuable educator, but an amazing friend. I know I can speak for many other students when I say he's the ideal teacher. I have no more words to describe the passion and effort he puts in both inside and outside of the classroom, or the level of appreciation and respect I have for him and everything he does. Anything else I could say about him would truly be insufficient. The only real way to understand the impact Mr. Steele has in his devotion to education is by seeing him in action, and he goes in action as he goes above and beyond to teach and inspire the students at Franklin High School. Thank you, Mr. Steele, and please welcome Mr. Mike J. Steele.
I've been a part of Elk Grove Unified School District for most of my life. So representing JUSD and all the great teachers I had at Folks Ranch, Harriet Eddy, and Laguna Creek High School, and taught alongside at Jackman and Franklin makes this a truly special honor. We had our first day of school last Thursday, and that marked 1 decade of teaching for me. And I can't help but marvel at how much I've changed in that time. Experience is a great teacher, but so are the people who have pushed me and inspired me to grow. They've helped me step outside my comfort zone and unlock a version of myself that I didn't know could ever exist. The roles I've filled at Franklin have shaped me. From teaching AVID and calculus to coaching mathletes and coordinating Challenge Day, I've learned a lot. I now know the importance of connections and building relationships, and I have a much wider perspective. I seek out challenges and encourage my students to do the same. And I've accepted the emotion that defines me and runs through me and channeled it for my students, raising my voice and opening my heart to them. Armed with these lessons and the unwavering support of my colleagues in the math department, I'm simply better than I was before as a teacher and as a person. But although I credit these programs themselves, it wasn't them so much as the people that comprised them that got me here. It was our conversations and the district meets and the leader trainings and the long nights and the dinners and the tears and the relentless wordplay that did the trick. To quote my fictional hero, Leslie Knope, no one achieves anything alone. And I'm proof of that too. I love that my world has grown because of teaching. I always tell my students that they never know who the most important person in their life is going to be. But the entire circle I run in comes from Elk Grove Unified School District. I met my best friend Matt on the first day of first grade, and I met teachers like Mr. Knock, who transformed a math-hating 7th grader into a future calculus teacher. And I've been pulled through some of my lowest moments by the teachers and students at Franklin High School. Students like Maya, teachers like Relay and Susan. And I now count them among my greatest friends. I've always had support from my parents and my brother, but my family is even larger now, and my life is much, much fuller. And I want nothing more than continue teaching in that amazing world. I have a large group of guests here tonight celebrating alongside me. In my ideal speech, I would now go through one by one and thank each of them and tell them all they mean to me and remind them how they've impacted me. Unfortunately, I have 2 minutes and not 2 hours. So I've written for each of you a challenge day card to give you afterwards. That also saves us a few tears. Still, while the cameras are on, I want to remind you all that I love you and I'm here with you. I'm here because of you. I share this honor with you guys. Because of you, I found my purpose in teaching, and for that, I'm just so, so grateful. Thank you, guys.
Now, I want you to know, we specifically told the teachers, do not bring homework. Leave it up to the AP Calculus guy. The second Elk Grove Teacher of the Year is Hope Weston. Hope teaches 6th grade at Elliott Ranch Elementary. She is being introduced by Mackenzie Lee.
Okay, first of all, I know I'm shaking, but that's because it's cold and I'm not nervous at all. But good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mackenzie Lett, and I'm in 10th grade. I was one of the lucky students who was taught by Miss Hope Weston, who has been such an important figure in my life. Words cannot explain how amazing and bright she is. I remember in 6th grade, she always greeted us with her warm, pearly white smile that brightened up all those tiring and gloomy Monday mornings. She's a very loving teacher who always treats her students as individuals. I still remember that one time when I had a very difficult day at school, and she took the time to call me that evening to make sure I was doing okay. This was a moment that I will never forget because once she did this, it made me feel so reassuring, and it gave me the strength to overcome any obstacles. It has been several years since I promoted from her 6th grade class, and yet she still constantly checks up on me, reassuring me that I can do great things. Not only does she show her compassion to her students, but she also shows her care for our community. She's a strong advocate for the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation and has stood up for women's rights. She is always raising funds by participating in runs and marathons to help a worthy cause. She has inspired many individuals, like myself, who have had the privilege of being in her class to go and spread our wings to do greater in our community. Because of her, she has sparked me into mentoring younger kids and learning the fundamentals in basketball every summer. As I grow older, I aspire to be just like her. I am so proud of Miss Weston for all of her accomplishments and am honored to introduce her for the Teacher of the Year award. Please help me give a warm welcome to this deserving individual, Miss Hope Weston.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I was very lucky to get to be your teacher. What an honor this is. I'm so incredibly excited to be standing up here among many amazing educators. What a fantastic experience this has been, and I feel so grateful to get to be here tonight. I absolutely love being a teacher. I think it's the greatest job on the planet, and there's nothing I would rather do. I love it when a student comes running up to me to get a hug because he's so proud that he finally earned that A he's been working for. I love it when I see the student who finally masters something that they've been struggling with, or seeing the student who finally realizes that they're not bad at math, or listening to the student who stays in at recess because she's dying to read you the story she wrote over the weekend. Those are the moments I live for, and those are the moments that bring me back to my classroom every day. This week, as I was trying to write this speech, I decided to turn to the people who know best about what good teaching is, the students. And I asked my class, what do you think makes a good teacher? And I turned them loose, and they diligently started writing on their papers, and I was dying to read each answer. And while I got a list of answers that you might expect, such as, a really good teacher is one that doesn't give homework, or a really good teacher gives extra recesses, I also got these answers. A good teacher has meaningful conversations with students and takes the time to really listen to them. A good teacher sends her students home happy because she's challenged them and made them feel like they can do it. A good teacher knows how to manage any type of student and takes the time to walk them through struggles without making them feel like they are different. A good teacher can become a great one just by understanding that we all have strengths and weaknesses and can help us to turn our weaknesses into strengths. I was amazed by these answers. They were so insightful, especially coming from sixth graders. Those statements really resonated with me because they are goals that I know everyone in this room strives to meet. We all want to be that kind of teacher. I've been so thankful to get to work with incredible people through my 18 years of teaching. I've had the best coworkers and administration anyone can ask for. These people have taught me so much, and I would never be standing up here without them. They challenge me and provide me with new ideas to try and new ways to reach students. They are my family, and I will be forever grateful that I got to learn from them. I would also like to thank my friends and family. To my non-teacher friends who listened to me talk for hours about parents and students that they would never meet, and who came and helped in my classroom year after year, having no idea why I needed all of those filing tubs, folders, and name tags. To my teacher friends who completely understood everything I was going through and helped me become the educator I am today, and for not only being great coworkers, but also some of my best friends. And to my parents, for being the best role models ever, as both incredible educators, as well as being amazing humans, and for always being on my side, and for knowing that this is what I was meant to be doing. To all my favorites at my table, thank you for being my people. And lastly, a huge thank you to both Elk Grove Unified and the Sacramento County of Education for this incredible night, giving us all the opportunity to meet each other and see all of the good things that are going on in education today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hope, and congratulations. Representing the Folsom Cordova Unified School District as Teacher of the Year is Guarienti. It's okay, you can cheer. Christy teaches chemistry and honors chemistry at Folsom High School. She is being introduced by Trenton Guarienti.
So if you're paying attention, you might have noticed the last name similarities here. Christy is my mother, so this is going to be an interesting introduction, to say the least. I never formally had Christy as a teacher. In fact, the only time I've technically been in her class was in 7th grade, when I was being petulant at home. And as punishment, she decided to take me to school with her and suffer through chemistry 6 times. That was the most fun I've had in a classroom in a long time. Sitting there as a 7th grader next to juniors and seniors, learning not just about the material that's being taught, but the way she teaches is particularly involved and outside of the material. It's never just about learning science. It's about learning about the world, about yourself, about how you fit in the world, and everything about her approach to teaching is involved in that. She is there at any point in time for any of her students. They come up to her, they tell her, I'm struggling right now, I need some help. She's there to talk, to provide resources. Anything they need, she's there for. This goes beyond just the classroom as well. I was a member of the club she's an advisor for, Bulldogs Reaching Out, where high school students go to middle school and elementary school classrooms, and they give presentations about life skills, how to say no when the situation requires it, how to know who you can trust in a situation, those kinds of things. And every single one of those members knew that Miss Guarienti was someone that they could go to if anything went wrong. There is no one who has more care in the world for the people that they teach, for the people that they guide and mentor in the classroom and in life than Miss Guarienti. And there is no one I would be more proud to introduce for the Teacher of the Year Award for Folsom Cordova Unified School District. Please give a round of applause for Miss Guarienti.
Woo! They said there'd be tears, but I didn't think it would be me. Woo! Whew, get it together, girl. Okay, I could sit here and tell you all about me as a teacher and my history as teaching, but instead I thought we would talk a little bit about toys. Because did you hear this is the toy banquet? So I brought some toys that we could talk about. This is my little toy box, and I'm a mom of 3 boys. You could see our oldest here tonight, and our youngest at the back table. And at our house, Legos were a favorite toy. Any parents out there with Lego lovers? Oh yeah. I know you would know that as a Lego lover, you have probably had that same experience that both myself and my husband Bill have had, where it's the middle of the night, you gotta get up for some reason, and all of a sudden you get that excruciating pain in your foot when you step on that left out Lego. Anybody feel that? I think that shared pain that we have in common can connect us to each other because we can relate to that experience. As a science teacher, I think of Legos as a teachable moment. I know my fellow science teacher over there we could go on and on and on about how the Legos are made out of the type of plastic ABS, acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. And we would talk about the thermoplastic and how it gives the Legos their strength and their shininess and their hardness. But that would probably be pretty super geeky of me to talk about that. Lego is actually changing the way they make their plastic because if you haven't heard, we have a huge plastic problem in our world, right? We have way too much plastic causing a huge pollution problem. And so they're changing it to a type of plastic that they make from sugarcane. That's pretty cool, but again, might be a little boring. If this were my classroom, it would send me off on a tangent, talking about another toy, like perhaps a rubber ducky. I don't know, it was a long time ago, but in 1992, back when I was still in college at Sac State, there was a shipping cargo container holding 28,000 rubber ducks going from Hong Kong to the US, and it fell off the cargo ship, and the ducks went wild. And they've been found over all these years, all over the world, these floating plastic ducks. And there's still estimated about 2,000 of those to be swimming in the ocean gyre currently. So what do we think about that? I think about those little floating ducks sometimes as I'm teaching, and I think how they have that mantra, like just keep swimming, and how that's like us in the classroom. We get to that point in the year where we just gotta just keep swimming, right? But let's get back to the point. A Lego brick by itself is just a Lego brick. It's pretty simple. It's just a piece of plastic with some grooves on it, right? But what happens when you put them together? When you put the Legos together, you can make something amazing, like this cute little science teacher that my husband made for me. Or you could make like the Lego Death Star, right? Which no teacher can afford, but everybody wants, all right? So whether you think about something as simple as a Lego science teacher minifig, or the Death Star, or the Hogwarts we saw on the way to this banquet tonight, it takes many connected pieces together to make something meaningful. And each of us in this room are like a Lego brick. And all on our own, we're just pretty simple. But when you put us all together and we begin making connections with our family, with our schools, with our students, with our coworkers, with our communities, amazing things can happen. And that's what we see here tonight with all the teachers that are being recognized and in all of our schools today. Thank you for making that point about the connected flight, because it is us together, connected together, that can really make a difference in the world. So let's make strong connections with each other. Special thanks to my connections here from Folsom Cordova Unified School District of Folsom High School and my friends and my family. Imagine what we can do together when we work on our connections. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Representing the Natomas Unified School District is Stephanie Schulzkump. Stephanie teaches 6th grade at Jefferson Elementary School. She is being introduced by Damian Murtha.
Hello, my name is Damian Murtha. I'm introducing Ms. Schulzkump. She was my 5th and 6th grade teacher. She helped me a lot with my math and understanding multi-step problems because I struggled with those a lot. She inspired me to do better and try my best on those, and when we have the test on those, I get 100% most of the time.
Thank you, Damien. It was a pleasure having you for 2 years. All right, good evening. It is an honor to be here tonight amongst so many great educators in this room. This honor, though, I feel does not belong just to me. It belongs to the amazing staff that I had a pleasure of working with for the past few years, and under the guidance and leadership of Denisha Keeler. She continues to push us to strive to be better, to grow in our craft and our profession. And that's the same concept that I take back to my classroom each day. I like to set those goals, those academic goals with the students, and then have them achieve them, just like Damien was talking about with his math problems. While exposing them to that rigorous curriculum, all the opportunities, no matter what level they're at, so that they can one day be successful, productive, global-minded citizens. In closing, I want to thank Natomas Unified for giving me the opportunity to share my passion for learning with all of their students, and my family for being here tonight as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Representing the River Delta Unified School District as Teacher of the Year is Kristina Esperson. She is a K-5 special education teacher at D.H. White Elementary School. Introducing her is Mateo Egan.
My name is Mateo, and I am honored to introduce Teacher of the Year, Miss Esperson. I first met Miss Esperson in 2nd grade. She was the best teacher ever. We learned so much from her, and she made school really fun. I was sad at the end of 2nd grade when I knew I had to go to 3rd grade, because that meant saying goodbye to Miss Esperson. Then I got my new teacher letter and found out I had Miss Esperson again. I was so happy. It was once in a million chance. I was so excited and couldn't wait to go back to school and her class. When I went to 4th grade, I was sad because I was going to really miss Miss Esperson. We had gone through 2nd grade and 3rd grade together. I had her for 2 years, and I really loved Miss Esperson. She was funny, awesome, and in the words of my best friend Brooklyn, Saldana, Miss Esperson is magic. So congratulations for all your hard work, Miss Esperson. I would choose you as my teacher any day.
That Brooklyn has a way with words, Mateo. So, thank you, Mateo. That was very special. And I know that was very hard for him, but I want to thank him for introducing me, and I want to thank the River Delta Unified School District and Sacramento County Office of Education for this honor. And before I start my speech, I'm going to say that at the end of the third grade year, I looped with my class, so I had all of the same students. So they were all surprised to get the letter that I was teaching, but on the last day of school, they said, "Fourth grade?" And I said, "No, I'm staying in third grade." I knew at a very young age that I wanted to be a teacher. My aunt and role model started teaching in the 1970s. Each month, she'd mail me her unused purple inked dittos. My younger brother and a couple of his friends, sitting at makeshift school desks made from cardboard boxes, would agree to complete the work I assigned to them in exchange for more Lost in Space and less Brady Bunch time on the only TV in our house. After college and finishing the credential program, I couldn't wait to get started. I don't think we ever forget our first day of teaching in our own classroom. I know I won't forget my students in that 6th grade class. We worked hard that year. They learned from me, and I learned from them. They taught me patience, resilience, and that we should never underestimate a child's ability to persevere through the difficult situations that come their way. I continued to teach various grade levels in general education for 25 years. My favorite grades to teach were 2nd and 3rd. That's where I thought I'd stay. And then I had an interesting conversation with my principal, Nick Casey, right here, out on the blacktop when the special education position suddenly became open at our school. Off the cuff, I made a remark, "I should teach RSP." I wasn't serious, really, and he said, "You should." And after considering it and encouragement from Nick and really thinking about my favorite parts of the day, which were working closely with those struggling students and helping them find success in ways that might be different than other students, I told him, okay, how am I going to do this? So I made the decision to make the journey into special education, and honestly, that decision has been one of the most rewarding decisions I've ever made in my life. It hasn't been easy. School was hard. I enrolled in a program that could be done after school, obviously, and I taught in the special education classroom at the same time. I had a lot of homework, not only from my own classroom, but credential work that had to be done. I want to thank my very supportive husband, Mark, and my son, Sam, who really had to pick up the slack at home and understand that I wouldn't be available as much as I usually am for sporting events and family time. So I really thank them for that. The moral of, or the lesson in that is, be careful what you say to your principal on the playground, because you never know what might happen. This past year has been challenging in that I was learning as I was going along. And as I reflect on that experience, I think it really helped me understand what my students go through when they need that extra support. My kids may not get the highest scores on tests, but I often say my kids are some of the hardest working kids on campus. I feel very lucky to work with my team at D.H. White Elementary School in Rio Vista. The term "it takes a village to raise a child" rings true, especially in education. From our amazing secretaries and general education teachers who devote countless hours preparing lessons to my principal, I love our team. I have to take a minute to thank the people I work with the closest, which are the paraprofessionals who I think don't get enough recognition, and especially Patty, who is my right-hand man, and she has helped me in so many ways. She pours her heart out to support the students in special education and help them reach their goals. Thank you, Patty. Congratulations to all the other educators being honored here tonight, and thank you to my family, friends, and colleagues for being here to support me.
Thank you, Christina, and especially those words of advice. Be careful what you say to your principal. Representing the Robla School District is Michelle Crisp. Michelle teaches 6th grade at Main Avenue School. She's being introduced by Marian Imran.
Hello, my name is Mariam Imran, and today I'm going to tell you about my 5th grade teacher, Miss Crisp. Miss Crisp is a very caring and loving teacher. She always makes sure we understand our lessons. She is kind and makes learning extremely fun. Please understand that Miss Crisp is an amazing teacher. It was an absolute honor being in Miss Crisp's class. She is everything I could ask for in a teacher and even more. She is perfection. I only see greatness in her future and her future students. I love Miss Crisp, and if you were in her class, you would too. Thank you, and please welcome my amazing teacher, Miss Crisp.
Good evening. It is an absolute euphoric feeling to be up here surrounded by so many amazing educators. I am honored to be included around you. I would like to thank all the educators in here tonight for all the work you do for our children. I couldn't be the teacher I am today without the phenomenal students I get to work with every day, the support from my principal and all the staff over at Robla School District, and my very, very supportive family. I truly believe education is a melting pot of wonderful students, and each year brings a new group with varying needs. That is why I have developed a true passion for a culturally responsive teaching pedagogy, as I believe all children should be able to learn in a safe and fun environment without having to negate who they are. I strive to provide an environment where mistakes are made and learned from, and differences are embraced. That is how I am able to give my students the tools needed in order to take responsibility for their own learning. One of the most rewarding parts of what I do is being able to witness the growth, both academically and socially, of my students as they transform into lifelong learners. I know I've made a difference in my students and their parents. I recall one of my former students who really struggled at school in the beginning, and in his 6th grade yearbook quote, saying, "Thanks, Miss Chris, for putting me up on my academic game." Or the fact that students, both current and previous, contact me on my days off just to say hi, which is huge because their time is precious. And parents of my students have contacted me as well for all the work that I've done for their child. So I stand before you today, eternally grateful and humbled to be honored tonight for what I feel is my calling, which is being in a position where I help to develop our future. I would like to leave you with a quote from the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that embodies my teaching philosophy. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education. Good night, and thank you again.
Thank you, Michelle, and congratulations. The Sacramento City Unified School District has 2 Teachers of the Year for 2019. The first is Leslie McAfee. Leslie teaches 1st grade at Crocker Riverside Elementary, and she is being introduced by Nolan Woodman.
Hi, my name is Nolan Woodman. Miss McAfee was my 1st grade teacher last year. She taught me lots of things like math, reading, and a lot of science. We also got to do Poem in a Pocket. It's a poem that you read out loud to your class with a microphone. The first time I did it, I was super nervous. It The last time I did Poem in a Pocket, I wasn't nervous at all. Because of that, I can speak to you tonight about how awesome Miss McAfee is. She's kind, nice, and thoughtful. I like that she has lots of patience for kids. My favorite thing we did was going to other classrooms and doing plays for them. That's why she is the best teacher ever, and I'm really going to miss her next year. I wrote my own poem in a pocket, so here it is. Miss McAfee rules the school. We all think she's super cool. She went out over and beyond with dedicating her time teaching us math, science, and how to rhyme. There were a lot of contests. 5,000 minutes got you pizza. That was the best. While there are a lot of teachers at Crocker Riverside are really fine, we all know who's the best teacher in room 9. I think she's caring, thoughtful, and kind. She goes the extra mile to develop our minds. Now that I'm ready for 2nd grade, my memory of Miss McAfee will never fade. Here's Miss McAfee.
Okay. So I'm already crying. I wrote 2 speeches. One was going to be sentimental and thoughtful and make me cry, but I'm already crying, so that's done. The other one is kind of humorous because I have to say I love what I do. I love working for Sacramento City Unified School District. I love working at Crocker Riverside. I feel so blessed to be here, and I want to thank SCOE for hosting this dinner. I want to tell you this. In 1984, I helped open this hotel. I was working my way through college, and I worked banquets and room service, and I can go back there right now and wrestle you up a little something if you're still hungry. And I might still have my uniform and my name tag because I do hoard because I'm a teacher. So I want to thank Nolan. I am comforted to know that when I am old and I'm in a home, that Nolan will be out in the world being important, because he will be important. Last year, his mother was concerned that he was a little bit shy, and she would push him and say, ask her. And I'd say, what, Nolan? And he'd say, you ask her, Mom. And you can see that's not a problem. We collaborate in my classroom all the time. We spend a lot of time working together to make sure that learning is meaningful and purposeful. I'm going to say this, though. Tonight is my sister's worst nightmare. To be trapped in a room with all these teachers, Allison, Teachers of the Year talking about teaching, and all excited about teaching, and the new year teaching. And she's probably going to take a lot of trips to the bathroom because I trap her in the car on the way to Lakeshore, and I talk teacher talk, all about my kids. And I don't know which Teacher of the Year it was that said, sorry about that, but yeah, we can't stop. Once it starts coming out, it's like, oh, I got to put it back in there. But we're so excited, and we love what we do so much that it is who we are. So I'm sorry about that, Allison, but I'm so glad you're here. I love you. Also, my husband is also terrified that I'm standing up here because he lives in a household where he's like, can I throw away the toilet paper rolls now? And what kind of plastic bottles are we collecting for your students? Also, sometimes he'll say things like, what is this STEM thing that's going on in the school district? I don't get it. So he also asked me about things like, what's this $300 charge for these IKEA shelves that you just bought? And do I have to put them together? And I need 2 more because I'm moving my room around. So mostly he just wonders when he can have his garage back because I've taught a lot of different grades. And I think it's so important. Everything I've ever been trained at has been the best thing I ever knew. So I keep it all. And some of it is so old and the rats have pooped on it. I mean, it needs to go. Thankfully, my school district this year adopted a new curriculum so we can clean out the garage, honey, so you can thank our superintendent. Lastly, I just want to say that I'm a good teacher because of all my friends who are good teachers. I walk in their room and I ask their advice. I ask them to tell me, how did you do that? What? That's amazing. I saw some of your kids' work and I want to know how you did it. And I just ask them, because if I don't know and I don't ask, I'm never going to know. And I want what they have. So I have surrounded myself by the best. I always go right for the best person, like, hey, you, I want to know what you know. And then I get to pass it on to my children. So I also want to thank my district, Superintendent Aguilar, and my principal, Daniel McCord, for being incredible leaders, giving us the training that we need. I'm a training geek. If it's out there and it's a training, I will pay for it. I will go wherever I need to go. I want to be the best teacher I can be for my students. So I just want to thank you for letting me stand up here and pontificate. And I did not read the one that made me cry, but yay for Teachers of the Year. You guys are amazing. I love teachers. We're not as old as the teachers that I used to have. I remember them being really old. So, woo! All right, party on. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, and thank you, Nolan Woodman, the 2019 Poet Laureate. The second Sacramento City Unified School District Teacher of the Year is Brandon Parker. Brandon teaches language arts and leadership at Albert Einstein Middle School, and he is being introduced by Diana Mensa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diana Mensa, and I'm currently a student athlete at Rosemont High School. Just last month, during one of our summer training practices, my coach asked me if I would like to introduce him at the Teacher of the Year banquet. To be honest, if he would have asked me any other time, I probably would have said no. And I was in the middle of like a squat position with 45-pound weights on both sides of my shoulders, so yeah. You see, but here I am, elated and proud to be here for my role model. When we think of the title Teacher of the Year, we think of a teacher who is dedicated and highly qualified, who encourages, teaches, and motivates their students to their full potential. When I think of the title Teacher of the Year, I think of my former teacher and current coach, Brandon Parker, because he has those qualities. Parker is a positive driving force in his classroom, often making sure his students are having fun while enriching and enhancing their reading and writing experiences. He is always coming up with new and creative ways to teach his class. During my 8th grade year in Mr. Parker's language arts class, he went out of his way to have people come teach us how to turn our inner thoughts and emotions into beautiful poetry. He even arranged for us students to attend the 2015 SES Summit at the University of California, Davis, where we were able to tour the campus to experience college and self-empowerment in a new way. Because of this experience, I found a new love for journaling. On an athletic note, Brandon Parker is also my track and field sprint coach. Last season, Parker took it upon himself to add the hurdle crew to his long coaching list. He did his research and made sure he was qualified enough to teach us everything we needed to know in order to improve our times. I've never met anyone besides my parents who could give their attention to so many different people at the same time. We're a family of like 6, I think. Parker is knowledgeable, fair, and patient and tough. I admire the amount of patience and passion he has towards everything that he does, whether it is or it is not something he enjoys doing. But I will tell you this, when this man teaches, you can tell he enjoys it and he knows what he is doing. He wholeheartedly believes in every single one of his students and athletes. With that said, it is both an honor and a privilege to be able to introduce to you my role model and a role model of many, and a man of extreme diligence, Brandon Parker.
This young lady is a champion, not just on the track, but in the classroom. I can tell you that from experience. Thank you, Diana. Whew, just got nervous all of a sudden. That's okay, though. All right. Okay, I'd like to congratulate all my fellow teachers here, first of all. Let's be honest. It was a grind to earn these seats to the banquet tonight, okay? So great job. But in all seriousness, I want to thank you guys for bringing your passion every day to the classrooms, okay? Inspiring your students to excellence. Do it from your hearts. I know this is true. It takes a special heart to lead on the front lines of education, and you guys all know this. We're here because it's our true calling. It really is. So let me tell you in short what brought me to this podium tonight. My journey to become a teacher could be traced as early as the 4th grade, I want to say. At 10 years old, I was the oldest of 3 boys in a single-parent home. Being a big brother was the most important job in the world to me. It really was. Again, oldest of 3 boys. I was hard on my younger brothers. Work hard. Do your best. Don't quit. There's no excuses for anything. I demanded that they work hard and never give up. As I got older, the thin surface that once sheathed the void that my father had left, it began to expose pain, confusion, anger. My grades plummeted. I lost interest in school. I got in fights often, and I liked it. And I embedded myself with a questionable crowd. And most teachers and staff wrote me off as a problem child, which I was fine with because that's just kind of like how things were going in my life. But during this pivotal time in my life, as I tried to make sense of the world, there were a few teachers that stood out. And I'm not making these names up, okay? Mr. Bean, in 8th grade, he saw through my facade and he beckoned me to expect more from myself. First time I got that from a male role model. Mr. Coffee, he made history. Yes, Mr. Bean and Mr. Coffee, right? This guy made history come to life every day, and I have loved history ever since. Most importantly, Coach Pierce, who I met when I was a freshman in high school, and he's mentored me on till he's still mentoring me right now, okay? He taught me about sports, but more importantly, he taught me about life and how to be a man and how to raise a family. And the trajectory of my life had been changed because of positive role models who took the time to say, hey, slow down, young man. You're doing this wrong. This is what you need to do. That weren't afraid to sort of cut through the BS sometimes and just talk to me straight. That's all I can say. I aspire to be that same person for as many young people as I can for the rest of my life. That's my goal. That's my mission. That's why I'm here. That's my goal in life. In the classroom, on the field, on the track, with sports, it doesn't matter. My 4 pillars remain the same. Establish relationships, make that connection. Make your content engaging and accessible. Bring it to them. Collaborate with your colleagues. Learn more and grow. Don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to adapt and change. Even if you're rocking it, you can still be better. So in closing, I want to thank you, Diana, again, for coming up here and saying those kind words. I'm so proud of you. She's going to be a senior. She's going to do great things. I'm so happy. I want to thank my mom, Wendy Parker, out there, for just doing a phenomenal job raising 3 young men on your own and filling the house full of books, making us lovers of reading and writing, and just raising great young men. I want to give a shout out to my younger brother, Brian Parker, who's a rising star in the district right here, in the classroom and coaching as well. But finally, I want to thank my wife, Melissa, and my precious daughter, our precious daughter, Aubriella, who I couldn't do any of this without. They support me even on my hardest days, because as teachers, you know, we give it our all. Sometimes you come home and you're on E-tank, right? You've given it your all, and maybe you don't have as much patience, and they're just supporting and encouraging as ever. And the best part about it is they demand me to be a better man every day, and they challenge me, and I love it. So thank you. I love you guys. And teachers, keep doing what you do. I love you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon, and congratulations. Representing the Sacramento County Office of Education as Teacher of the Year is Cynthia Guzman. Woo. Cynthia is a special education teacher at Leo A. Palmer Junior Senior High School for students with emotional challenges. Introducing Cynthia is Kevin Crockett.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin. 2 years ago, I met Miss Guzman in 8th grade at Leo A. Pomander. I arrived later in the year, needed to focus on my academics. Miss Guzman helped me get on track and stay focused. Miss Guzman helped me become confident with my work by encouraging me to keep trying when I wanted to give up. She has also taught me to more than academics. She has helped me with controlling myself, staying on task, and focusing in my classroom. She was patient with me. I now use these skills outside of my class too. Since working with Ms. Guzman, I feel that I am on the right path to graduate.
Not that tall. Okay. Thank you, Kevin, for introducing me and for being my student 2 years ago. And what an honor it is to be Sacramento County Office of Education Teacher of the Year. I began at Leo Palmer 5 years ago as a special education teacher working with students with emotional disturbance. I already knew my passion would be working with students that would challenge me as an educator, and my students have proved me right. And I enjoy the challenges they provide me and show them that I am ready and there for them to succeed. I love getting to know my students and see them transform their fixed mindsets into growth mindsets. I see them communicate their needs more effectively and feel confident about their learning. But my passion did not start at Leo Palmer. I have a 24-year-old sister with Angelman syndrome. Natalie was my first student. Growing up, I never underestimated her, and I loved to be involved in her progress at home and at school. I looked up to some of her teachers growing up. Early on, I learned the meaning of it takes a village to raise a child. My parents and I have done our best to meet Natalie's needs, but we know that we couldn't have helped her be as successful without the support of her school programs. Because of the supportive staff that has helped Natalie and my family, I knew right away that I wanted to be a teacher. Growing up, I participated in Hispanic family support groups along with my parents and sister. As I got older, I became more involved, helped with daycares, and started supporting other siblings that had siblings with special needs. Due to my positive experiences with Natalie, I continue to help other children cope and deal with having a sibling with special needs. I facilitate therapeutic sibling workshops through the Mind Institute, and as an educator, I can now also help guide other Spanish-speaking families through the special education system, which can be challenging with a language barrier on top of it. I see my sister in every single one of my students. I understand that some of their behaviors may stem from them not being able to express themselves appropriately. I gladly use patience and behavior interventions to guide them into becoming successful students. I'm also thankful for all the support I receive from my principal and my coworkers at SCOE. Hi, Natalie. I want to thank you. Okay, sorry. And I wanted to thank you guys for coming to cheer me on along with my parents and sister. And I want you all to know that I take this recognition to heart for my sister, my parents, but also because it is an honor to represent SCOE as Teacher of the Year and to be a team member. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia, and congratulations. The San Juan Unified School District has 2 Teachers of the Year. The first is Amy Heno. Amy teaches English and Avid at El Camino High School, and she is being introduced by Sam Cecil.
Hello, everyone. I apologize for not being as adorable as the other presenters, but I'm here to introduce the one and only Mrs. Heno, or back when I knew her, Miss Matt. Amy was one of the few teachers that left a lasting impact on my life. She has this remarkable talent to connect with her students in a multitude of ways, whether it being a friend, a mentor. We never really argued with her because we always knew that she had our best interests in heart. That, and she's terrifying. Is she looking at me? Awesome. Okay. Now, back when I was Amy's student, I don't think she wants me to tell you how long ago that was. I was sort of the class clown type. I think my favorite hobby was probably to hide under her desk and scare her, which she specifically told me not to mention Whoops. But even with all my antics, her class was a place of comfort for me. She didn't force me into a box to be like everyone else. She saw my antics as an expression of individuality, and rather than restrain my outlandish creativity, she let me revel in it and showed me how to use it to be more innovative. For example, during my senior year, we had a district-wide graduation where every school's AVID class got one speech about how the AVID program affected their growth. Some of my classmates wrote very poetic and heartfelt pieces about their lives, wrote theirs 20 minutes before class. But for me, I wanted to do something original. So I grabbed my guitar and I wrote a slightly humorous but sincere song about my time in AVID. And for reasons absolutely beyond me, Miss Heno chose my goofy speech to represent our school. And that night was a milestone, partly because I got a super attractive girl's number, but also it represented me finally succeeding on a grand scale while doing things my way and taking on a project in a way that I wanted to. And that opportunity was thanks to Mrs. Matt, or Mrs. Heno. And 6 years later, I get to return the favor by giving her intro speech on her special night. Amy, out of all the students you could have picked, you picked me, and I'm honored. Well, technically you picked 3 others, but none of them could be here, so here I am filling in. But hey, top 5's not bad. So without further ado, I give to you Mrs. Amy Heno.
Thank you, Sam. I'm honored to be here tonight among the many talented and hardworking educators across the Sacramento area. I'm proud to represent our district, as I too am a product of San Juan schools. And I now have the privilege of teaching at my alma mater, El Camino. In 2nd grade, I knew I wanted to become a teacher. I had just started at Mission Avenue Open School, and my mom also just went back to school herself to become a teacher. For years, I watched her balance work and family and night school. She's my Wonder Woman. She's my greatest role model, teaching me the importance of higher education and chasing your dreams. From my teachers, I learned that education was about building relationships and helping students see their potential even when they couldn't see it themselves. Their compassion helped me through through difficult times, and I hope that one day I could return that favor to my own students. My 2nd year teaching at El Camino, I was invited to teach in the AVID program. It helps first-generation students like Sam achieve their college dreams. Sam was in that first AVID class. He was a little squirrely sophomore with big dreams and big personality. And I learned with them, I learned from them, and we bonded as a class. I watched Sam grow into the outgoing young man you see before you with charisma and confidence. He sang the song about our entire AVID class that still lives in infamy across the district. And during college application time, another student, Jessica, who's probably our most dedicated student in this AVID class, I think they called her like Miss Matt Jr. or something like that. She came to me with tears in her eyes and a quivering voice telling me that she would not be applying to college. She was undocumented and a dreamer. But fortunately, the DREAM Act had just passed, and we were able to get her applications in and set up with scholarships and financial aid. 5 years since they've all graduated, I still refer to them as my AVID babies, and almost all of them have graduated college, and most are the first to attend in their families. Caitlin and Ivan are continuing on to grad school. Kelsey is entering veterinary school this fall in Ireland. Michelle is now in her 2nd year of teaching. Miranda will soon be teaching in Thailand. Sam will be graduating this fall with a degree in business. And this May, Jessica graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. 3 of her siblings are now following in her path. I'm so proud of all my AVID babies and honored to have been a small part in their journey. Thank you to my administrators and to my superintendent, who have supported our work with AVID. To my colleagues and friends, you are my chosen family. Thank you for pushing me to be better and those much needed laughs. To my family, thank you for your guidance and never letting me give up. To my husband, thank you for your constant support, patiently watching me grade papers for hours and hours at home, and helping me redesign my classroom every summer vacation. To all of you, thank you for helping me to keep balance.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you for the great words about AVID. What a great program. The second San Juan Unified School District Teacher of the Year is Gayle Winnie. Gayle is the music teacher at Howe Avenue Elementary School, and introducing her is Micaiah Nichols.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Micaiah Nichols, and I'm here to present this award for Teacher of the Year. I would like you all to take a moment to think of a teacher from your past who has inspired you and has never given up on you. That warm, fuzzy feeling you have is the way I feel about this special teacher of mine. This award goes to someone who continuously uses her upbeat attitude to teach me how to persevere through challenges with a smile. I think I can speak for all students when I say that she deserves this award for going above and beyond her role as a teacher. She makes me feel important when she listens intently about my day. She makes me feel strong when I am feeling down. She makes me feel valued when she has to teach me over and over again while using her calming voice. Lastly, her faith in me has inspired me to chase my dreams to become a musician. We all have that one teacher that will remain in our hearts no matter how many times the sun rises and sets during our lifetime. This special teacher is definitely one that has left an everlasting impression on my heart. With that, I am honored to present this award for Teacher of the Year to Miss Gayle Winnie.
Thank you, Micaiah. It's an honor to be your teacher. For me, being a teacher is one of the most patriotic professions because we have an instrumental role in shaping the minds of generations to come. We have the power to instill in our students the basic values of honesty, respect, and hard work. We can also instill in them other important principles, such as sharing, compassion, tolerance, and the responsible treatment of the planet. Besides teaching the next generation the required subject matters, we can also teach them creativity, resourcefulness, and critical thinking. Teaching is a complex craft. It is a career that celebrates change, growth, and creativity. We, the teachers, the school staff, administrators, and parents can help raise one generation after another. Teaching is a profession where we can demonstrate daily that the power of we is greater than the power of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayle. And by the way, Gayle is a two-time Teacher of the Year for San Juan Unified. The Twin Rivers Unified School District also has two Teachers of the Year. The first is Julie Helms. Julie teaches second grade at Regency Park Elementary School, and she's being introduced by Ryan Bonser.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bonser, and I'm a former student of Regency Park Elementary. 5 years ago, when I found out I was going to have Mrs. Harms as my second grade teacher, I was a little nervous because I heard she had high expectations for her students. I quickly found out that she definitely did have high expectations, but she also had so much more. She was caring, kind, passionate about teaching, and she had a sense of humor like mine that allowed me to relate to her in a special way. By the way, a funny story is that for Teacher Appreciation Week, I put more effort into her card than my Mother's Day card. Anyways, she always found a way to mix learning and fun in just the right amount to make it feel like we weren't even at school. During the year, we were able to incubate and hatch chicks. We would write about how they grew in the egg over time, and at the end, we were able to see the chicks and even hold them. Mrs. Harms has been a great influence on who I have become. She has always been so supportive, and she never doubted me. You would think that once second grade was over, her job was done. But even now, she continues to take an interest in my life, and we have been able to catch up and talk many times. I would like to thank her for being my teacher and caring about me for so long. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Julie Harms.
Quick note, I'm still friends with his mom. The Mother's Day thing didn't have an effect. So thank you, Ryan. You've also had an effect on my life. Whew. So I often imagine my classroom like a school bus, and I get to be the driver. As a driver would, I get to greet my students every morning so that we start the day off on a good foot. Just like on a bus, the door to my classroom is opening and closing constantly, with kids entering and exiting for bathroom use, speech class, resource class, trips to the nurse, you name it. Also, just like the driver of bus, I'm moving my students forward every day, occasionally looking in the rearview mirror, but concentrating mostly on what lies ahead, the goal of being a good person with the skills needed to move along to third grade and beyond. As a driver stays in contact with the bus garage, I stay in contact with my grade level partners on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. I know I've had days that would have been even tougher to get through had I not had the support of my fabulous team. Some days are bumpy ones, and we need to sit tight and hold on to make it through the ride, but we always strive for a nice, smooth ride through our school year as we learn and become a small family. So as this new school year starts and we begin loading our buses for the year, let's remember to buckle up and look ahead and be excited for our destination. I would really like to thank my principal and administration and district personnel for being here tonight. Ryan and his mom, who I truly am very good friends with as a result of Ryan having been in my class, and my wonderful husband, who knows what I'm going through every day because he too has been a teacher. So thank you very much. And in the words of Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus, seatbelts, everyone. Let's see what this bus can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julie, and congratulations. The second Twin Rivers Unified School District representative is Major Michael Noche. Michael teaches Air Force ROTC at Highlands High School. And introducing the major is Micah Alian.
Hello, everyone. My name is Micah Alian, and I graduated from Highlands High School back in 2013. Let me tell you about my mentor, Major Michael Noche. Not only is he a hero to this country, but also to countless ROTC individuals. He taught us to be realistic individuals, emphasizing the concept of baptism by fire. It means that it doesn't matter if you've never had a past experience on something, you just have to take a shot at it. I remember during our yearly encampment trip in Dublin, we had to rappel down this 40-foot tower. It was optional, you didn't have to do it, but Major said I could do it. So I did, and I thoroughly believe that that was a turning point in my life. Me, as a timid immigrant back then, I didn't know I could achieve so much. So not only did I baptism by fire that tower, I also applied that concept to graduating high school, attending UC Davis, switching majors from biology to statistics. And fast forwarding to now, as I apply baptism by fire every day at work, as a criminal intelligence specialist. Man, it's been a really, really wild ride, but I couldn't have done it without the one and only Major Michael Noche.
Good evening. Thank you, Micah. She's not only a product of Twin Rivers and Highlands High School, she's also a UC Davis graduate. So, you know, if you look at the neighborhood where Highlands High School is, it's very rare. I'd like to thank my superintendent, Dr. Martinez, Dr. Grace, and Team Twin Rivers for supporting me this evening. Special thanks to Micah for the flattering introduction. I'd like to recognize my wife, Tracy, and my family for my daughter Michelle is here tonight also, for being my ultimate champions for everything I do. Excuse me. This is the fires in California. It's just killing me. I'm very stunned to be here this evening. The two most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day you find out why. I enlisted in the Air Force at the age of 17 and taught my first class at 19. Teaching is what I was destined to do. After all, what's more critical in life than molding the future, grooming our replacements, and helping today's young become better students and citizens? But conversely, teaching is the least thing we do. First, we are the classroom version of mom and dad. We are mom and dad 2.0. We are big brother and sister. How many teachers have been asked for advice by other students? We are students' mentor, and sometimes tormentor. When we have to discipline and correct. We are medics, putting Band-Aids on these kids' cuts and bruises. We are counselors, giving students motivation and ideas on their life choices. We're healers. When our students are in pain, we tell them that, kid, everything is going to be all right, even though we're not sure ourselves. Teachers determine the weather of their students' lives every day. A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. I thank all teachers, past, present, and future. We have the best profession in the world, and I salute you all for your dedication and commitment to student achievement. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Major Noche, for not only your military service, but your ongoing service to students. Well, we are out of teachers, everybody. Let's give a round of applause for all these outstanding teachers. And the outstanding student introducers as well. At this time, I would like to invite the current Teachers of the Year for about 10 more minutes. Jeff Zahniser and Rebecca Siegert McGill, who would like to come up and say a few words about what it's been like for them to be a Teacher of the Year for Sacramento County. And Rebecca, we will start with you.
I'm very excited to be here tonight, passing the crown to the 2019 Teachers of the Year. Thank you to Sacramento City Unified School District, Rosemont High School, the Scottish Rite, and the Sacramento County Office of Education, especially Charlene and Tricia and Tim for giving us an absolutely unforgettable year. For my final speech, the directive was to talk about what this year was like for me. But after interviewing the 12 teachers who chose to move forward, it was such an incredible experience all on its own that I wanted to share what inspired me about each one of the teachers that you heard from tonight. So when I asked Tim and Charlene if it was okay, Tim said that I could, as long as it was 2 minutes. I tried, Tim, I really did. But when I go over, it just means I'm gonna steal some of Chef Jeff's time, just like I've done all year. To begin with, and I wish I knew where everyone was sitting so I could directly look at you when I'm talking about you, but please know that if I could find you, I certainly would. Mr. Steele, I believe you are, there you are, right there. Mr. Steele, your love of data was honestly palpable, and I was not kidding when I said I would love to talk baseball data with you, especially with the A's playing amazing baseball right now. And your I know, give it up for the A's. And your combination of math-English mind is intriguing and extremely rare. Your students are so lucky with how you encourage them to find their voices in your math classroom. Mrs. Schulzkump, your work with the inclusive model has clearly impacted your students, and thankfully now, you'll be able to expose even more educators to the power of co-teaching in your position this year as a teacher on special assignment. Mrs. Heno, there you are, over there. Before I tell you what inspired me about Mrs. Heno, I'd also like to share that approximately 2 years ago, I had the pleasure of sitting in an ERWC training that Mrs. Heno conducted, and I learned more from her short portion than I learned in anything else about that curriculum in 5 years. So I will thank you for that. I will also thank you for your genuine enthusiasm, your work with organizations such as the Central Valley Holocaust Educators Network, and your unwavering belief that reading will help unlock the doors for students. No wonder Room 50 is such a fantastic place to be. Mrs. Snyder, while it must have been incredibly difficult to block out everything around you and focus on the phone interview that you did with us while on vacation, you did it effortlessly, which speaks absolute volumes about what you do every day to multitask in your classroom in ways that many of us can't even imagine, much less have the ability to do. Mrs. Harms, you strive to have your students see you as a person and not just a teacher in order to make lasting connections with kids. And your work to find that specific click with all of your students will help them immeasurably in their own relationships in the future. Mrs. Crisp, your commitment to students not only during the day, including your lunch bunches, but also throughout the school year and the summer with your Freedom School Literacy program illustrates that, as one of your recommenders said, teaching is a true calling for you. Mrs. Guarienti, I think you were over here somewhere. Mrs. Guarienti, your dedication to Folsom High's Bulldogs Reaching Out program is literally changing lives. And your use of storytelling, as we all witnessed tonight, to help students access chemistry is not always seen in the world of science, but it clearly should be. Major Noche, you mentioned that above all in the classroom, relationships transcend the content. Please keep doing exactly what you're doing with JROTC because you're building well-rounded scholars and citizens who will contribute immeasurably to our world. Mrs. Weston, through your focus on the idea of connectedness and how important it is for students to realize that they are a part of something bigger than themselves, it's so clear that your students truly enjoy giving their all to the classroom as well as to the community. Mr. Parker, your connection with your students, the level of respect that you give and you receive from them, your belief in their success even when they don't believe in themselves, it's all made you a true role model to countless students, athletes, parents, and other educators in our Einstein-Rosemont community, and it's an honor to know you the way that I do. Ms. Guzman, your work with goal setting and the power of giving compliments to each other is clearly impacting your students, and your personal connection to why you teach is a true inspiration. Your population of students needs more teachers exactly like you. And last, certainly not least, Mrs. Winnie, your ability to take students and their families and give them the gift of music is opening doors to their futures, and your work with building oral language through music with your refugee students is truly transformative. I am honestly in awe of each and every one of you that I interviewed, and the two of you tonight that were not a part of the interview process but we got to hear from, I include you in that list. Reading your ideas and listening to your passion for your students' personal and academic growth has impacted me greatly as a teacher and as a person. I would be honored to teach with any single one of you in any school. And we talked on the panel about what if we made a charter one day and all of us came together, the power that we could have in that situation. But if we make a pact here tonight that all of us continue teaching at a school with any strength that we have of our character, and we teach with hope, and we teach with optimism, and we teach with empathy, I have absolutely no idea that we are going to impact thousands more students' lives, and we are undoubtedly going to change the world. Thank you very much.
So as I got to say all year, yeah, what she said. But seriously, the one thing that stuck out for me this year is that culture and community, without it being nurtured, dies. And we're seeing that in our country right now. We're seeing that in our lives right now a little bit. We're starting to realize that. But the people who are in this room and who teach in schools every single day, and the administrators and programs led by Mr. Gordon and the board of SCOE and all the other superintendents that are here supporting this, support that culture and community amongst the students, amongst the teachers, and gives them the ability to change the world. And that's what we need. And that support is really what it all comes down to. And the teachers of the year and just every teacher that works in our communities. So with that, Mr. Herrera, and thank you to Mr. Herrera.
Thank you, Chef, and thank you, Rebecca. We're about to give out the awards, but before we do, I would like to invite Dr. Al Brown, the board president of the Sacramento County Board of Education, to come up and say a few words. He'll be telling you about the history of the award, and we'll have some information on the screen as well.
Good evening. Thank you, Tim. Let's see, I do have a short statement to make here, but I'd like to also say a little about myself. Since a lot of people here have never met me, I'd like to thank, first of all, the board for voting for me to be the president for 2018-19. As a teacher, and I taught for about 31 years, my first teaching job was 6th grade, and I'll never forget that. My mom and dad weren't college grads. My dad finished the 3rd grade, but he built the house that we grew up in. My mom finished the 6th grade, and here I am. My first teaching job was 6th grade before I attended law school and taught at Sac State for 30 years, working at UC Davis. My teaching moment, if I could share that with you, was about 7th grade. I came home and I had to show my mom my report card. And she saw the card and broke down in tears and sat down and just cried. And I felt so bad. I made my mom cry. And she said, "You are better than that. You're smart. You can do the work. I don't want you to ever bring any grades home like this again." And believe it or not, I never did after that. I made my mom cry. She was my first teacher. And that was a teaching moment for me. And I'll never forget it. My dad didn't discipline me. My mom disciplined me. She was my best friend, my buddy. But when she cried, I knew that I had to do something better than what I did. And that was sort of a turning point. We weren't very, how can I say it, as a family, we weren't very rich. We were okay. I had 5 sisters and 1 brother, and my brother fought in Korean War. I was a little guy. I had 4 sisters that turned out to be teachers. I don't want to take too much time, 2 minutes, but and growing up in Montgomery, Alabama, I had a chance to meet Dr. Martin Luther King when he first came to Montgomery. My neighbor was Mrs. Rosa Parks, and E.D. Nixon, who helped bring Dr. King to town, he lived right around the corner from me. When I graduated from high school, I didn't really have any funds, but everybody says, big black guy, he's a football player. No, I wasn't. Okay, I was a swimmer. So I went to Tuskegee University, and I went to the swim coach. And I said, "Coach, I'd like to get a scholarship." He says, "Come on downstairs in the pool, let me see what you can do." He said, swim down the pool. So I swam, and when I got out of the water, he says, "Okay, you have a scholarship." So I was on scholarship for 4 years, and that's how I paid for my tuition. I couldn't have done that without somebody believing in me. And that's all you have to do is believe in students, and they will surprise you. They will excel. And as a seventh grader, and not knowing what I could do or what I couldn't do, and my mom crying and saying, hey, you can do better, I believed that. I believed it. So I just wanted to bring that up just really quickly. I've met a lot of interesting people over the years. Hubert Humphrey here in Sacramento. Maybe you've heard of Wilson Riles. He was one of my mentors. Adam Clayton Powell. I had a conversation with Malcolm X. Maybe you've heard of him. Quite a few over the years, but I was just a little kid growing up in the South, and as a college student, participating in marches, trying to make a difference. And I think that's what the teachers are trying to do today. They're trying to make a difference, trying to hope that their students improve. So I'd like to thank the board, my board of trustees, for allowing me to be president this year. I appreciate that. Now for the speech. Okay, it is my honor to present the Eleanor Lincoln Hickey Award of Merit. It is the highest honor bestowed by the Sacramento County Board of Education. But before we present the award, let me give you a history lesson about the award. The late Mrs. Hickey, like the teachers we honor this evening, was an educator who made countless contributions to education. During her decorated career, she touched the lives of thousands of students while teaching public speaking, debate, journalism, radio, television, and English. Shortly before she retired, she was named Sacramento City Unified School District's Teacher of the Year and went on to be chosen Sacramento County Teacher of the Year. That was in 1978. Busy in retirement, Mrs. Hickey served on both the Sacramento City School Board and the County Board of Education, twice as its president. In 2005, a SCOE community school was formally named the Eleanor Lincoln Hickey Junior Senior High School in her honor. After her death in 2008, the county board adopted this special award in celebration of Mrs. Hickey's dedication to teaching and to teachers, students, and their families. So to all of the teachers here tonight, and especially to the two who will be chosen as County Teachers of the Year, please know that you are carrying on a great legacy. I cannot tell you how much we respect and appreciate what you do every day in the classroom to serve the thousands of students and families in Sacramento County.
All right, at this time, to announce the Sacramento County Teachers of the Year 2019, I have the envelopes right here. Rebecca, would you do the honors first, please?
I am pleased to recognize the Sacramento County Teacher of the Year for 2019, a language arts teacher and leadership teacher at Albert Einstein Middle School, Sacramento City Unified School District, Brandon Parker.
I think I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. I'm just honored to be here with you guys. It's a true calling to be a teacher, showing up every day and giving a piece of yourself. You may be having a bad morning, things may be going on in your life, but you got kids showing up to your classroom every day, and you gotta be on, you gotta grind, and you gotta motivate them to be the best version of themselves, and that's what we do. So I thank you guys. Keep fighting that good fight, and let's just make America great every day. How about that, like we always do, all right? Thank you guys.
Sacramento County Teacher of the Year for 2019 is a calculus, AP Calculus, an avid teacher at Franklin High School, Elk Grove Unified School District, Michael J. Steele. Congratulations.
I don't have a speech prepared for this. I don't know. This is really cool. It was pretty cool seeing all my former students, now friends, sitting back there holding hands at the table, like some sort of interesting seance. But it's more special to stand here with my family. It's more special to stand here with my teachers, people that I look to talk about math, but talk about everything else. The conversations relay you and I have that are meant to be about one math problem and that go on for an hour and end up talking about the universe. And Susan, the number of times that I've needed to find you during the school day, I left my parents' home and I didn't have my mom and my dad to set the example for me. I have you guys and my students. Going to school doesn't mean anything if you're not there. You don't go to teach and teach in an empty classroom. I've tried it when my AVID class graduated. It was really, really quiet and boring. I ended up trying to text some of them to try to find them so that it would feel like the school day was still going. But you go to school every day and you look forward to it because the people that are there fill up your life and brighten everything that you look at and make you feel alive and happy and proud to be in this profession. I've been influenced by countless teachers from the moment I entered kindergarten to the moment I walk into school every day at Franklin, and I'm really proud to honor them with this award. So thank you everybody.
Congratulations, Michael and Brandon. You can stay here. Rebecca, you're not a Teacher of the Year anymore.
I have to go?
You have to go now. Aw.
I told him he wasn't going to be done with me that easily.
I have to say, I've been with the county office for 13 years now. And every year I am just so impressed with the teachers that we select for the County Teachers of the Year. They are quality people, they are quality teachers, and we are very fortunate to have them in our county. Thank you. The two County Teachers of the Year will be honored by the Scottish Rite Bodies of Freemasonry at a recognition in April. And the Scottish Rite has a long-standing tradition of awarding a perpetual trophy to our two County Teachers of the Year. And for that, I would like to invite Bob Tamblin from the Scottish Rite to come forward and present the trophies.
This is a very exciting evening for the educators and for the students who are the products of their labors and keeping the traditions going forth, having a pocket poem, or talking about mysteries of the universe in a calculus class. I would imagine that Sir Isaac Newton would be rolling over in his grave. Being a former educator myself, way back, teaching math and science, I appreciate those sorts of things. As a member of Sacramento Valley of Scottish Rite, part of our commitment in what we do is to education, because we know that that is what brings forth greatness in our country. And so seeing these extremely gifted teachers at every level is extremely fulfilling. I especially have a very annual moment that I really like is when at the Sacramento Kings game, all those candidates come out on the floor and get to see them and the reception that they receive from the attendance of the crowd. So with that, I am pleased to present these trophies to the Teachers of the Year. This is serious hardware. And because, as was told earlier, it's been going on for quite a few years, this is the new replacement trophies, or maybe I should say successor trophies. So congratulations to the winners. Allow me to present each one. On behalf of Sacramento Scottish Rite, thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of this extremely special evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob, and for the ongoing support of the Scottish Rite. And now, before we depart, we have a special video salute that we produced for you to recognize and honor all of our Teachers of the Year. Congratulations to Brandon and to Michael, and congratulations to all of you teachers. Again, thank you very much for helping us celebrate education and drive home safely.